This is a view of the tablet face. This is a 10.1 Samsung Galaxy Tablet 4 running Android 4.4. Nothing special here. This is all middle of the road. We've got the onboard applications of the email client, Hangouts for texting and calendar, and the Aztec Organic Pest Service application itself. So we'll go ahead and get that started. Once it comes up, you can see the embedded Google Calendar. We've been talking about Pest Control Technician Scott, G, and he's the gray guy. If we go to the agenda view, we can see he does have 4 jobs, and we ended off the last video talking about those 4 jobs. The way we get to the jobs on the tablet is, well, we have to be online, and that would mean before the guy leaves a Wi-Fi zone, he would sync up with the office, and then that's all he really needs to complete the jobs. Of course, he couldn't send email or acknowledgments from his device until he got back into a Wi-Fi hot zone. But what we want to do is go into the queue. This is all the jobs that are currently on his tablet, and if we attempt to sync up now, we get a complaint about there being jobs on the tablet. Well, we don't care about that because we don't have any of them currently in the middle. We're not currently in the middle of performing a service in the field. These were jobs that were gotten and synced up when the guy last was in the Wi-Fi hot zone. So we can just overwrite them, actually, and then go back over to the queue and see we've got quite a bit more going on here. And for today, we can just go into one of them, and what we have here is a large roach do job. So these are all shorthand notations in tri-states. So there's, when I say tri-state, there's 3 states available here. But this is an indicator to the pest technician what he needs to do in the field. And also, we noted that these are Google static maps as opposed to the map viewer, where we're just changing a zoom level on a static map tile. This could be helpful. Each frame we saw has hints that the pest tech would follow. He'd verify information. We do want to get an email address if possible. And once he knows what he's going to be doing, he can go into the actual treatment record. So for pest control, we're going to find out what agents are going into the property. And for them, they need to know the unit of measure, the quantity of that unit of measure, and the percentage of active ingredient that actually was put into the property when they treated the pest in question. Additionally, we can take photos, which we like, and having taken a photo, we can save that, and it will show up here, in which case we can then go into that photo and make some notations about it. And save those changes here. And we can go back. We found the navigation in the app very easy. Just back and next. That's pretty easy. But once we added an agent, let's say, this is just at random, I'm picking something. So we're doing 8 ounces, let's say, of this agent, which is a 34% solution. And we can add some notes here. More pests than were expected. Well, so much for voice recognition. We could get in there and put it in voice. If I was speaking into it, it does a much better job. And we can get into the money screen here, where if we needed to add some products, we could. And then we're going to hook up a payment method. In this case, he's paying by check. That's all good. and then we're going to hook up some kind of a warranty if one applies, and then get to the finish line here. We have a couple of ways to go here. We can send an invoice, and we'll just go ahead and do that first. We could send an invoice, or we could send an estimate, and we have a couple of different methodologies at play here. Let's go to the client, the email. This is the onboard email client where we're getting our email. Let's go ahead and load that guy up. And this is an invoice. And the cover email is part marketing, part acknowledgement, so this is all good. The attachment is the actual invoice, and let's see what that looks like. So for Aztec, this all makes sense. We've got the warranty here, and then what we charged and how it was paid. This is all good. If we go back over to the app, and then this time we want to include the picture with it. We don't have to, but the pictures taken become part of the treatment record. So it's kind of like they all get shipped up to the hub and are made part of the treatment record. So we're going to include it in what we're sending to the customer now. And once we do that, we'll go back over to the email client. And get that new email down. This is the same cover. This time we've got two attachments, so we've already seen the invoice itself. This is what we already saw with the warranty. And what we're interested in now is that picture. Which is the picture, and shows our note that we put on there. Going back over, we could actually kick out an estimate here where something was noted by the technician when he was on site. So let's say there is some more work to be done, and I'm going to get into what that is. Fire ants are out front. Period. So this would go into an estimate, and in this case we are attaching a dollar figure in our estimate, and also the rep can sign if this be important. Becomes part of the estimate, and in looking at that preview, let's see how that goes. What we've got now is an estimate where we are actually going to see that this says estimate now, and it's prepared for. We've got some detail. Fire ants are out front, and the guy has signed it, and also the money attachment to it of what it's going to cost, and he could actually, customer could actually use this and book the service, call in and book it. Additionally, we included some visual information with the estimate. These are where your fire ants are, right there where that arrow is. And this could be helpful in helping the customer visualize what it is that he's going to be paying for. And we like that. So going back over to the application, we can, now that we're at the end of the job, he's done all the work that he needs to do, and these information changes state when, depending on whether it's an invoice or estimate. So we've got the notes going into the treatment record. So these notes go into the treatment record, and then these notes are not part of the invoice and don't go into the treatment record. These are for the estimate, if there is one. What we're going to do now is just complete the job and send it. And once that all is done, we get back over here to the first screen, where if we update this calendar now, we're going to show that one job that we just did as being completed right here. So the Laidlaw job that we just completed shows as such, and here's the acknowledgement from the hub that it was actually done, and this is all good. And then if we go back over to the queue, Laidlaw is not part of this, so we have several other jobs to do, but not one of them is Laidlaw. So this is all good, and this completes the review of the tablet in relation to the record that we added up in the back office. And now we'll go back over to the back office and see how that works. We are back over onto the back office application, and we're looking at the gray guy's jobs, and this one, Laidlaw, we just completed on the tablet, so it's showing here as open. If we change status to complete, what we're going to see now is, let's just do some sorting here to see if we can locate that job. And Laidlaw is one of these jobs here. And here it is. So if we look at that, it is now complete, showing that we did the large roach job located here on the 23rd, and it was moved to status complete. So this is all good. And then if we go back to the open, you can see that, well, I don't see any job for, let's see, let's get this, okay, so he had 4 and now he has 3, so this all makes sense as being incomplete. And then down on the tablet, those 3 jobs still remain for today and not completed, and this is certainly just test data. And now if we go over to the calendar and refresh this calendar, now it's already been refreshed. Google's refresh rate is kind of an unpredictable thing. We don't know how it actually works. Sometimes we have to do it deliberately, other times it does it eventually. So we show Laidlaw as being complete here as well, and this is the master calendar. And they have a little color toggle. This is all Google. If you want to see the calendar, you've got to have their color on the swatch as opposed to it being white. And that's all well and good. And now our jobs for G now show as 3. And that concludes this segment of the video, which is video number 2 in a review of a software offering from Austin Innovative in Austin, Texas, where they have a web-based software as a service that integrates service customer data and turns that into a manageable map and schedule landscape and mobile application for fulfillment and estimation. And this is all very nice. So we will conclude this video now and move into other areas.